Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. And on today's video, I'm going to be discussing something that's kind of controversial. As a matter of fact, it's fairly controversial. And before I get into it, I just want to say that any political views stated here, pseudo-political views, are my own. And I don't want to bring my channel into a political atmosphere. But for this video, I do think it's warranted, especially since it's about Dead by Daylight and Leatherface. So, with that being said, if you don't like to hear pseudo-political discussions, and don't want to hear about how nowadays everybody is vitriolic and super, offended and crazy about everything, this video isn't for you. I don't want my channel to be, known for this type of stuff, because it's not really somewhere where I wanted to take my channel whatsoever. But like I said, for the sake of this video, I do think that it's warranted to talk about this, especially like I said, since it's related to Dead by Daylight and Leatherface. So to get into it, basically for the past couple months, I've been seeing not too many people, and there are a lot of people who agree with me as well. But I've seen a couple people on Twitter saying stuff like Leatherface and his Claudette face are offensive and racist, and they need to be taken out of the game. And just to explain to anybody who doesn't really know, the 4 original survivors in Dead by Daylight are Dwight, Meg, Claudette, and Jake. And when you get Leatherface, when you got Leatherface before they ultimately change it in the next patch, if you killed Dwight, let's say 25 times in a trial, you would get his face as a cosmetic for Leatherface to wear. And whatever, it was cool, just gave Leatherface a little bit more variety. Nothing big, but who cares? But a couple people obviously that I saw and got into arguments with, who ended up blocking me, which is funny because they can't have an argument about it without just being like, you're blocked, because they don't want to hear anybody else's opinion on it. They viewed it that Bubba wearing Claudette's face is offensive because obviously it resembles, it's blackface in a way. And, so obviously, like I said, I saw a bunch of people getting upset about it, and then other people arguing with them about it, about what they shouldn't take it out of the game. And in my personal opinion, they should not have taken it out of the game. And before you go down to the comments and write, you're a racist, whatever, you need to understand that, one, him doing that, wearing somebody's face, within the context of at least the original film, Leatherface is, one, mentally challenged, so he doesn't really understand what he's doing to the full capacity. 2, he was essentially abused by his family into being a killer, and he's a serial killer, no doubt about it. So, and a cannibal as well. So the actions of Leatherface are not supposed to be taken in a positive way. They're not glorified in any of the movies. They are not glorified in Dead by Daylight or anything like that. So when you see Leatherface wearing someone else's face, you're not supposed to look at it like it's a good thing, because it's not a good thing. It's bad. That's why, a lot of people in the community, they root for the survivors, because the survivors are, quote-unquote, the good guys, the heroes, even though some of them are more morally ambiguous than others. But it doesn't matter. They're the victims in this situation. So obviously, a lot of people root for the survivors. But nonetheless, I understand, I guess, people getting sort of offended by it, because obviously there's the historical and terrible context of people wearing blackface, which is insanely racist. And if you wear blackface, let's just be honest, you're a fucking idiot. But Leatherface is a fictional character who his actions are not meant to be viewed positively or glorified in any way. So, in my opinion, them getting offended over it is just ridiculous. Especially since in this game you can play as a plethora of severely deranged and evil psychopathic characters. Like, you could play as Michael Myers, who killed his sister when he was 6 years old and then continued, going on killing sprees in various different movies. Michael doing that is not supposed to be glorified. And, in my opinion, quote-unquote, the most offensive killer in the game would be Freddy. Because Freddy, in the remake, which is the version that they use in Dead by Daylight, is a fucking child molester. So, if you're gonna go out of your way to complain about how Leatherface wearing Claudette's face is offensive, then I feel like you kind of need to complain about Freddy too. Because his actions are equally horrific, if not worse. But the thing is that these are killers, and they're not supposed to be looked at in a positive way, within the context of the story of their movies or in the game. They're evil. There's nothing really redeemable about many of these killers. So, I'm not saying they should remove Freddy from the game by any means, but I'm saying that the hypocrisy and double standards of these people making these claims about Leatherface's skins being racist or whatever, sexist or whatever they want to throw out there, is ridiculous. And quite frankly, it just makes my assumption that most people in the Dead by Daylight community just don't know anything about the franchises that the licensed characters come from. Like, for example, I had people I was arguing with a couple weeks ago saying that Ash from Ash vs. Evil Dead is racist. Well, yeah, kinda. In the show, he's racist, but he makes a couple racist jokes in regards to his friend Pablo. But the thing is, one, they're just jokes. Two, Ash is supposed to look like a dumbass. When he says those things, he's supposed to look like an idiot. So you saying that Ash is racist or whatever, and act like you're on a pedestal for talking bad about a fictional character who's supposed to be portrayed like an idiot half the time, you're missing the point. You're missing the point entirely. So, yeah, it just confirms to me that people in the Dead by Daylight community don't know anything about what they're talking about, because most of them are, no offense to them, I don't care if they watch the movies or not, but they're just gamers. They know little to nothing about these characters and will jump to assumptions about these characters before ever actually, doing the research or watching the movies or whatever. I'm not saying that everybody in the Dead by Daylight community is just gamers who just don't watch the movies and don't understand. A lot of them do, obviously, because that's what draw a lot of us to Dead by Daylight. But I also just think getting upset about what a fictional serial killer who you're not supposed to look up to or is glorified in any way is a little bit ridiculous. As a matter of fact, I think it's very ridiculous, and I just think that people are always looking for something to be offended about. Nowadays, honestly, it's depressing, and that's just unfortunately the way it is. And me making this video is gonna end up, there's gonna be people in my comments who are calling me a racist just because of what I said in this video, even though there was nothing racist in this video. It was just, if you have a different opinion than them, you're racist, or you're sexist, or you're misogynistic, or whatever, because they have no other argument outside of that. Yeah, they have no other argument outside of, let's just call you a name that you don't know the person, and then you're just gonna assume something and throw words out there like that because, with how things are, the climate of political conversations or whatever conversations nowadays, it just gets that toxic and vitriolic that fast. And me making this video is, if, a lot of people watch it, inevitably is gonna have people fucking saying shit like I'm racist and whatever, and that's fine. But if you disagree with me saying that Leatherface's mask should not be removed in the game, and me personally not thinking that it's racist for Leatherface to wear any of those faces, please feel free to comment down below. We can have a discussion, we can be civil. I'm an adult, I don't want to attack anyone or anything like that. I just want to have a conversation about it. And I like the fact that there are a lot of people in the community, people who are, and I'm not speaking for them, but there are people who are black that I know that don't find it racist at all. And they actually think it's stupid that these people are getting upset seemingly they're getting upset for them without actually knowing what they think about it. Yeah, so like I said, it's kind of a sort of political conversation that I don't really like to get into in my channel at all, because I just don't want to drive my channel into that route. Like, I'd rather just talk about like upcoming games or horror stuff and stuff like this, but this is related to Dead by Daylight, and it's related to one of my favorite characters in the game, Leatherface, Bubba, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, so that's it for this one, folks. Sorry to get into a topic that is so divisive and controversial, and, you know, Twitter stans are going crazy on Twitter about it. We won, we won, we won. Ugh, fools. But, yeah, that's all I gotta say on this one, folks. Stay safe. Don't get involved in political shit like me. And stay groovy.